Hi everyone. In the COVID 19 era, we are in a here and now situation. Planning for the future seems to have gone out of the window until we have a cure or a vaccine in place. In times of uncertainty and as we adjust to the new normal, this is our attempt to give you insights into what the leaders in banking and financial services industry are thinking. This is a three-part series, and in each part we are trying to address the industry challenges and what the future could hold for the sector.
The fact that it is a combination of a health and an economic crisis makes it unique and probably more troublesome. The impact of this is going to be fairly widespread across sectors, whether real or financial. And I believe that unlike the earlier crisis, this will be a flat or a shallow U-shaped recovery, and therefore recovery will also be rather slow. And this prolonged recovery will test the resilience of both the real and the financial sector. And I think the poor performance of real sector will reflect on to the performance of the financial sector. Of course, the fact that lack of growth will mean lack of growth of the financial sector as well is one. But the more important thing is that financial sector will probably see the level of defaults or deterioration in asset quality that it has not seen in the near past. And these are going to put the financial sector capital into serious threat, and therefore truly testing the financial sector resilience.
COVID has been a real test of resilience for the portfolio companies. It came as a complete black elephant type event when the Indian economy was relatively stable and expected to rebound strongly. Among our portfolio companies, what we are finding is healthcare and technology have been relatively more resilient, whereas financial services and consumer are significantly affected. The companies that have dynamic management teams that are able to use digital as a way to pivot and basically continue to do their work at a time of crisis, companies that are operating in essential services and companies that have low leverage, both financial and operating, are expected to come out relatively unscathed. In the immediate term, the focus is all about employee safety, about cost containment, managing liquidity. But in the medium term, it also opens up opportunities to strengthen the organization and to reimagine the future post-COVID.
Credit card spends have definitely dropped because people have defocused from spending on non-essential goods. And that has created a 40 to 50% dip in normal spends. People are used to getting serviced in a physical environment, and therefore this touch and feel has got converted to digital. So servicing of loan customers or recovery from loan customers, including installments, has been a challenge for the industry. Going forward, there is going to be in the industry a lot of job reductions, salary corrections, sabbaticals, and other ways of cutting costs. At that point of time, there will be an impact on the loan books of banks. So as an industry, we hope that people will be very conscious about liquidity, cash flow management, both at the corporate level as well at the SME and the MSME centers. And that's when revival of this industry will become normal and forthcoming.
So banking will have significant impact due to the pandemic. Clearly, I think three parts to it. First, there will be a slowdown in the economy, which we've all witnessed in the last few months, and some of the slowdown will persist. So banks will have to adjust how you respond to the slowdown. It'll mean changing your risk models. It'll mean changing your cost appreciation of what happens as you go along. Secondly, this slowdown will cause clearly NPA challenge, which means both individuals and businesses will have either a cash flow issue or a balance sheet issue, and banks will have to be on their toes and work closely with the clients to see how they help them given the challenges that they've suffered. I think the third very important one is banks do have a very important role to play, which is how do you kind of help the economy get back on its toes faster? And I think that's a crucial piece.
We are in the midst of an unprecedented crisis. In Indian GDP estimated to grow anywhere from 0% to -7% in this financial year. Financial services, being the barometer of the economy, will bear the maximum brunt of this slowdown. Both banks and NBFCs will be negatively impacted, but the impact on NBFCs will be much sharper given A, their customer segment is a few notches lower than banks, and B, they don't have moratorium on the liabilities side. It would be a fight for survival in many cases, given low growth, high delinquencies, high cost of debt, and low availability of funds. But having said that, I would say NBFCs in India have demonstrated great resilience to tide over multiple crises in the past, including the liquidity crisis in 2008, to demonetization in 2016, to the IL&FS default in 2018. This crisis, though, is much deeper, but there will be many companies which will be successfully able to tide over this crisis.
I think the fundamental shift that really happened is with the social distancing norms and with all the advisories being sent out. I think the first and foremost challenge was to keep the distribution channels, our branch network open, and ensuring that the branch staff also remained safe. We had rostering, etc., put in place early on. And I think commendable effort was done by all our branch staff in responding to this challenge by reaching out to customers virtually in the manner, on the channels that they most prefer. And in terms of appreciation that we received, it's been the most this time around. But I think the other change that happened is functions that weren't configured for remote working. A lot of adoption of technology, embracing virtual collaboration tools. All of those happened in double quick time to ensure that we could mandate a large work from home. In the long run, I think yes, the digital adoption will be there. There will be macro and microeconomic challenges.
The most significant impact of pandemic is a reduction in demand, with certain sectors seeing near complete loss of demand. Banking sector will also bear its share of the brunt of the pandemic. Downgrades, defaults and credit losses will increase, and which in turn will make the banking sector more conservative in its lending policies. Simultaneously, investors are also becoming risk averse and therefore moving their liquidity to bank deposit. The contraction of lending by the banking system is further amplified as alternative investors such as mutual funds move to conserve their liquidity. Central banks have responded with the expansive monetary policy by stepping up liquidity and lowering interest rate. Consumer interest rate, however, remains unaffected as lower interest rate has been offset by higher risk premium. So we arrive at this great paradox, which is that the banking system is awash with liquidity even as the real sector is completely short of funds. So the only way out seems to be that the lending by banks is guaranteed by the government, and government intervention of this type is necessary to retain stability of the financial market. From a behavioral point, we see acceleration in adoption of digital payment systems. Besides payments, delivery of all other banking products will increasingly be done through videos and digital channels. So therefore, we'll see a lot of improvement in the cycle time as also in the productivity for both banks and customers. There is a positive impact on the environment as well, as we travel less or commute less for banking purposes. This acceleration of technology will see also a lot of innovation, particularly in the working capital management area, the development of the P2P markets, and a direct digital issuance of financial instruments by companies to investors.